Solo camper Natalie from the channel Natalie Outdoors arrived at a remote coastal spot for a night of wild camping. As she prepped her dinner, the sight of figures on the cliffs forced her to hide her hair under a hat, hoping to pass for a man in the fading light.
So I'm sitting here making my dinner and I heard voices and I peeked out and I could see people from away up there. So I was like, I shoved my hat on. I had all my hair tucked down in my jacket to try and make me look like a fella. Because I've never camped here before, I was nervous about who was coming along because you have to go right round the side and away down here. But then I seen a guy and then I heard kids and then I seen the woman that was a couple and their children. They were so lovely, yarning away to me, asking do I do this all the time, and they were down Bloody Bridge last week. I was saying that I camp in the mornings normally and their kids were like, we want a wild camp. They were so nice, but they were like, do you do this by yourself? And I was like, I'm sure people think that do come across me, that girl is crazy. I'm just casually out here in a tent making my dinner. The dog tried to come up because he could smell my dinner. Oh, so funny.
The initial nerves faded until a group of 4 teenage boys approached her tent. They lurked in the shadows, whispering amongst themselves before shouting that they were calling the police to have her removed from the rocks.
There was a group of 4 people coming towards the tent. I realised it was 4 teenage boys and you could hear them whispering and getting on. I ended up poking my head out and saying hello, and they headed up the hill to the cliffs behind me. Now up that way it's access to a farm, so you can't, there's no public access up there, so I'm guessing they live there. But as they were walking up the hill, they all started shouting, we're getting the police phoned, you're not allowed to camp there, we're ringing the police. So I could be in for an eventful night here. I don't know if the police will come down this far. I have to go right along the rocks and right down here. I don't know if a farmer from away up the cliff's going to come down, or they're going to come back, or what's going to happen. But yeah, came to the coast for a change of scenery and the police might be coming to remove me.
Natalie hunkered down, her ears ringing with every distant sound. She watched the faint lights of a ferry in the distance, wondering if a farmer or the police would emerge from the darkness to confront her.
That is me in the bed. I can't see a comment of like what they were shouting. Couldn't see them going home and actually telling someone. I think it's just teens being teens. The ears open anyway, because if I hear a voice saying, excuse me, I'll shit myself. Sorry, I shouldn't say that actually, because in my previous video I said I was shitting myself and got told off because I was also casually enjoying my dinner, because you're not allowed to eat and be scared. You're not allowed to go camping and be scared either. No. And also I whisper, which I know I whisper. I speak really low too. I am going to get mics. I'm recording all these on a really old iPhone with about 20 gig of space, and I have to record and edit on this iPhone. And I have no mics, I have nothing else, just winging it. So yeah, I will hopefully be here in the morning. Fingers crossed. Good night. So the sea was sounding suspiciously close to the tent. I had to get up and look out. I did check the tide times before I came, but...
That's when the ocean began to roar. The sound of the sea grew suspiciously loud, and she realized the tide was rising much faster than the charts had predicted. threatening to sweep her tent into the cold depths.
No, there's another hour and a half till full high tide, and it's, I wouldn't say it's close, but it is close. It's not like about to touch my tent, but there's another hour or more of growing time. It definitely sounds like there's water out there. The water was down there and that way earlier, not up there. There was grass. I don't know. But French fries will help. I come out for a nice chilled, relaxing evening in nature. Fucking chaos. Threats at the place. And I'm possibly getting swept away with the ocean here soon. Good morning. I can barely open my eyes. That was a rough night. Worse than the forest. I haven't even left outside yet. It sounded like it was raining.
Morning brought a drizzly, moody sky and a sense of profound relief. The police never arrived, and the high tide had stopped just inches from her camp, leaving the surrounding rocks slick and dangerous.
I think it's an autumn's day. I know that's what it sounded like anyway. It could be a different story when I open the door. I need a coffee badly. So I've got a coffee now. I've also had to go through my phone to delete several apps and parts of my content from yesterday. This is what I have to do every time because I'm using an old phone with hardly any memory. And then I have to try and edit on this as well, which I basically have to delete and wipe everything in my phone. And that's the process every time. So here's to getting a new phone soon, and like an Action 5 would be handy too, and microphones because I speak really low as it is and I whisper on a camp. Like, to me, I am yelling right now because I know I'm going to get told off by people for speaking so low. But yeah, I'll turn the camera around.
She surveyed the shoreline, realizing the water had reached the very edge of her shelter during the night. Natalie packed her gear in the peaceful morning silence, exhausted from a night far more intense than any forest trek.
I'm sure this will not be the best of videos when I put it together, but thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next one. Cheers. As always, guys, leave no trace. That is me all packed up. So peaceful here this morning. Like so peaceful. But I need to go.
On December 4th, 2023, the YouTuber from the channel Your Way Living headed into the late season woods. The rut was ending, and she knew she only had a narrow 5-hour window before dark to fill her freezer.
Alright, you guys, welcome back to a brand new video. Welcome back to the wolf pack. I don't know what has happened to this hunting season. It has just slipped by. I guess Thanksgiving and family stuff, and just this time of year is so busy. Been able to get out there a few times, but not as much as I would have liked to, and I feel like the rut is pretty much almost over. We've got a few days left of rifle season, so I'm gonna go sit for like a solid till dark, like 5 hours, which I used to be able to sit like all day sits, and I don't know, there's just too much stuff going on, but I feel like a solid 5 hour sit is gonna be pretty good. Definitely up my chances. It's a little warmer today finally. It's like 50 degrees. It's been freezing lately, but I'm gonna head over to a different spot where I've got a blind set up this blind for my...
She trekked to a ridge-top blind her father had built years ago. The surrounding brush was suffocatingly thick, leaving her with only a few narrow windows to scan for movement in the heavy timber.
This blind was really hard to hunt out of because I didn't know which side something may be coming from, and it was just so thick all around me that I really only had like a few windows, I guess you could call it shooting lanes, out each blind window.
The afternoon was quiet until a sudden flash of movement caught. A buck emerged from the trees, charging straight toward her position without a hint of hesitation.
Oh my gosh. You guys, that's insane. That thing was literally like nose to nose with me, and I freaked out and I said boo. Oh my gosh, that was so crazy. I saw him running from like so far away, and he came literally straight to me, and my blind window is like all the way down, and he literally came and like looked in the window like at my face, and he was like making me this I don't know what he was gonna do. I was so scared. I should have probably waited and just seen like what he was gonna do, but man, that was crazy. It's like the only thing I've seen so far, except a million squirrels, but that was crazy. Whoa. Also, I forgot to mention, I threw out that apple. After I ate it, I threw it out the blind. And that's probably what he smelled. I don't know. Yeah, there's probably about 45 minutes until dark, so we'll see if we see anything else.
That's when it happened. The buck came face to face with her, staring directly through the low blind window from only inches away. She shouted boo in pure survival instinct, genuinely startled by how close the animal had approached.
Alright, you guys, so I'm back at the farmhouse. I made the shot on that little buck. Definitely not a giant, but it's meat for the freezer, baby. And it's been about 3 hours. I wanted to wait a little bit to look for this one because I kind of heard him thrashing around down in like the creek bottom, and I just didn't want to spook him, jump him.
After taking her shot, she retreated to the farmhouse to let the woods settle. She had heard the buck thrashing in the creek bottom and knew the recovery would be a challenge in the coming darkness.
I mean, I could go through it. No? Look at that. That is a freshie. Well, look at what?
The branch.
What, where it's broken?
Yeah, where the deer broke it off.
Look at this. All this is like freshly scraped up. That's a freaking huge scrape.
So where's the blind?
Up there.
So it was down, where was it?
It's somewhere up down in here in this creek bottom. Gosh, look how straight up and down that is. Alright, y'all. We found him. Nice little basket 8. He's got some tree bark still on his brow tines there. He's been horning around. Thank you so much.
She returned to track the buck, navigating the steep, treacherous ravine. She followed a trail of fresh scrapes and broken branches until she finally located the 8-pointer resting in.
Nice little basket 8. He's got some tree bark still on his brow tines there. He's been horning around. Thank you so much, buddy. It's meat for the freezer, y'all. Such a bittersweet feeling. A lot of good meals. Thank you, dear Lord Jesus, for this beautiful harvest.
Yeah.
YouTuber Dixie from the channel Homemade Wanderlust was solo backpacking through the remote mountains of southern Arizona. She settled into her tent at Grass Shack Camp, expecting a quiet night under the stars. That's when the silence broke.
It wasn't occurring. Is that a skunk? Hey, bro. Get. No. Get.
At 4:30 a.m., the peace of the desert shattered. A skunk, acting with erratic and terrifying aggression, launched a relentless assault on her tent. It wasn't foraging, it was hissing and actively trying to bite through the thin mesh to reach her.
God, you two stink. Go. Get. No. Get. No. God damn. Get. Get. There's a skunk attacking my tent. Get the back!
Dixie screamed for help, realizing she was a sitting duck inside her sleeping bag. A nearby search and rescue volunteer heard her cries and rushed over to drive the animal away with rocks.
Yeah, there's a skunk, attacking my tent. He's hissing at me and... A skunk! Trying to get in. Get back! Get back! He's gonna bust through! Get back! Oh my God. I don't know. He keeps circling and coming back. I don't see him right this second. But he keeps coming up to my netting and trying to bite through. My food bag is in the bear bag, or in the bear thing. I was...
That's your... Yeah, right there. There he is.
You think he has rabies? I'm so sorry to get y'all up, but I'm gonna show... I recorded this. I'm gonna show y'all him biting at this tent.
The danger didn't end when the animal Dixie realized she had packed up her saliva-soaked tent and then touched her own eyes, raising the terrifying possibility of rabies transmission. In these mountains, the virus is a death sentence.
Concern now is, okay, have I been exposed to rabies? And I didn't really think much of it because I'm like, oh, you have to be bitten or scratched. Well, of course, when I talked to my mom, having that mom vibe that she does, she's like, can it transmit through touching the saliva and then touching your eyes? You know, this happened at 4 to 5 in the morning. Did you pack up your tent, touch where it was attacking, and then rub your eyeballs? Or, you know, eat food with your hands? And yeah, I did all of that.
Let's see, when you were packing up your tent, I mean, do you recall there being any saliva or feeling anything wet or anything? I know it sounds like it was kind of a tense situation.
Yeah, I don't specifically recall that, but I was so worked up. I also, this is crazy, but I'm
I have a 6-month-old son, and so I'm pumping breast milk on trail just to keep my supply going. And so I was pumping when this happened, so I had breast milk like spilled all over me. So I probably wouldn't have noticed anything wet because I was soaked with breast milk. So,
but thinking about kind of the potential exposures, I do think realistically it would be very a low risk, you know, to pack up your tent, get enough saliva on your hands, and then rub your eyes.
right.
I mean, and if you did actually have saliva and you rubbed your eyes, that would absolutely be a way to transmit rabies. It's any saliva that gets into any membrane, like an eye or an open wound, like that would be 100% a way to transmit rabies. But realistically, I don't think.
Adrenaline finally gave way to a massive emotional crash. The false sense of security she once felt inside her nylon shelter had vanished.
Camp and got set up, and I need to pump, I need to cook, and I honestly don't really want to do any of it. I was nervous not hiking. I wanted to go a little bit farther than I did tonight, but I don't know, it's such a weird feeling. I've always had this like false sense of security in my tent, and I just feel like that's kind of gone now. I didn't really expect to feel like this earlier today, but it was like as the sun started going down and I started thinking about getting in my tent, it's just like I'm a little bit messed up right now. And I know that it wasn't like a life or death situation with a skunk. I don't know. It just feels like you, or at least I've always kind of imagined what that would be like an animal trying to get in your tent to attack you. I felt like just a sitting duck. I've just been like replaying it in my mind over and over today. Like, what could I have done differently? What could I have done better? I don't like the idea of having to hurt an animal. But if it would have come in my tent, I would have had no other choice. And maybe I should have been a little bit more on the offense anyway. Because if an animal has rabies.
Despite the trauma and the physical exhaustion of the climb, Dixie found her second wind. She chose to keep trucking, fueled by a mother's determination to finish the journey she started. The trail had one last test for her.
The fuel to be like, all right, well, now I must finish. Now I have to.
I mean, whatever way you're gonna finish.
I know that the fella that I met meant well when he said, come back and do it another year. But he made the mistake of saying that I have a 0% chance of finishing. So he has lit my fire. Where there's a will, there's a way. As long as I can keep feeding my son Mama to supplement the freeze-dried milk, I'm gonna keep trekking along.
YouTuber Rootless Wanderer was driving deep into the logging territory of Elf Bay Road. The hills were stripped bare, leaving behind a scarred landscape of stumps.
You can see all in there where the loggers have cut, and hopefully tree planters will come along and take care of that. Oh wow. Oh my. Look at that. I don't know how I feel about it. I mean, I love things made out of wood.
I like using wood. I like to burn it for fires. I mean, cedar is the best. But then when you see what it...
She turned her van toward a massive 20% grade incline. The rain started to fall, turning the loose gravel into a slick, dangerous trap.
But I'm driving on Elfay Road, and it's a Forest Service road, so it's pretty freaking bumpy, as you can tell. But it reminds me of a story. Okay, the scariest moment I ever had on a Forest Service road took place on this massive steep hill. It's a 20% grade. I'm going to flip the camera around and see if you can see it. I'm just coming up to the hill now, and I'm going to be going up. In a previous video, I have mentioned the going down, which was really fun. But here, I'll show you. Okay, this hill here, that's the start of it. It keeps going up, up, up. 20% grade. I'm going to pull over for a second here. It's a pretty steep hill and it's raining. Okay, so scariest moment on a Forest Service road. I was going up that hill, and it's a 20% grade, and I was about halfway up, and I see a pickup truck coming towards me. I'm like, oh no, where's fear? This is a single lane road. And I'm like, what am I gonna do? Like, oh my god. So I'm holding on the brakes, and my van, I can feel it's wanting to roll backwards, like so bad, but I squeezed.
Halfway up the peak, a pickup truck emerged from the gray mist. There was no shoulder, only giant rocks and a drop-off that looked like certain death.
% grade. I'm gonna pull over for a second here. It's a pretty steep hill and it's raining. Okay, so scariest moment on a Forest Service road. I was going up that hill, and it's a 20% grade, and I was about halfway up, and I see a pickup truck coming towards me. I'm like, oh no, where's fear? This is a single lane road. And I'm like, what am I gonna do? Like, oh my god. So I'm holding on the brakes, and my van, I can feel it's wanting to roll backwards, like so bad, but I squeezed over as far as I could. There is zero shoulder here, you guys, and it's all giant rocks, and I'm worried that, oh my god, I'm gonna pop the sidewall of my tire. And I'm like, okay, it's just a pickup truck. What's the worst that could happen? Okay, at least there will be someone to help me if I get into trouble. So I inch over as far as I can. There's just like a little bit of a shoulder covered in giant rocks. And I'm like, okay, just hold on to the brake. We can hold until this pickup truck passes. We can do it. And, you know, I can feel my van wanting to go backwards. And I'm like, no, 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 please don't, please don't. And then the pickup truck starts to pass me. He stops at my window.
Then the driver delivered the news that made her blood. A massive logging truck was directly behind him, barreling down the single-lane path.
Rolls down his window. So I'm like, okay, I'll roll my window down too. And he's like, so there's a logging truck behind me. And I'm like, oh my god. I was terrified. I'm like, oh my god, what do I do? And he's like, he must have been with the logging company. He had a high-vis vest on, and he took a walkie, and he talked to the driver, and the driver said he could squeeze past me. So I tucked in my mirror, you know, folded in my side mirror, and I was just like holding on the brake, praying that, one, a rock doesn't pop the sidewall of my tire, 2, that my man doesn't decide to roll backwards, and 3, that this big, huge, massive logging truck full of logs is gonna run into me. Truck passed without incident. It took me a bit to try to get going again after being stopped. Like, my van, on being such a steep hill, did not want to get going, but I did, and I made it. And now I'm about to go up that same hill right now, and I just passed the logging truck, so I'm hoping there isn't another one. Wish me luck.
That's when it happened. She folded her mirrors and gripped the wheel as the heavy timber behemoth squeezed within inches of her van.
My side mirror, and I was just like holding on the brake, praying that, one, a rock doesn't pop the sidewall of my tire, two, that my van doesn't decide to roll backwards, and three, that this big, huge, massive logging truck full of logs is gonna run into me. Truck passed without incident. It took me a bit to try to get going again after being stopped. Like, my van, on being such a steep hill, did not want to get going, but I did, and I made it. And now I'm about to go up that same hill right now, and I just passed the logging truck, so I'm hoping there isn't another one. Wish me luck. I am happy to report I made it up the hill without incident. Oh, but we still want to roll backwards, so we're not quite at the top yet. But see, I'll show you the sign.
Yeah. No shit. So that's the hill.
Scariest moment on Forest Service Road. Just thought I'd share.
Her van groaned, fighting against the gravity that wanted to pull her backward. She finally reached the summit, trembling as she left the logging zone behind.
Right now, and I just passed the logging truck, so I'm hoping there isn't another one. Wish me luck. I am happy to report I made it up the hill without incident. Oh, but we still want to roll backwards, so we're not quite at the top yet. But see, I'll show you the sign.
Yeah. No shit. So that's the hill.
Scariest moment on Forest Service Road. Just thought I'd share.
One viewer was so shaken by the narrow escape that she commented, "That would be a very stressing moment, so glad it all good." YouTuber Her Two Wheels loaded her Royal Enfield Himalayan and headed for a remote campground in 2023. She was prepared for a total blackout, no cell service, no water, and no electricity.
I don't have cell service in this area. There's nobody I can call that's gonna help me. I think I'm gonna make the wise decision to
No freaking way. They paved this? Oh, this is luxurious. This used to be all a gravel downhill grade. Okay, it turns to gravel up here. Dude, that is really nice. That is really, really nice. This ain't bad. It's always awful when they just lay down fresh gravel through here and it's so deep and the whole bike just went.
The ride in was a pleasant surprise. The old treacherous gravel grade had been paved, allowing her to reach the first-come, first-served area without the bike losing control.
This lighting might be a little harsh, but I wanted to give you guys an updated video on everything I am bringing camping with me in the year 2023. I will say I have made a few moto camping gear videos over the years, and this one in particular is going to be how I am packed out with my Royal Enfield Himalayan. So obviously the Himalayan is a much smaller motorcycle. I do have limited space on the bike, and the campground I'm currently at has 0 facilities, 0 cell service, electricity, water, wood, everything. So I had to bring everything I'm working with today on this little motorcycle. So that's firewood, that's water, that's all of my cooking utensils, my change of clothes, and all of my camping gear and my filming gear. First thing on the list, I'm using my brand new Revival Cycles dry bag. This is a completely waterproof motorcycle dry bag. I shoved almost all of my camping gear in that bag, except for a few side bag stuff that I put on the motorcycle itself. So something that fit in this bag was my actual Lone Rider ADV tent that I'm using. This is kind of large for a smaller backpacking style tent, but this is a luxurious high quality tent that I wanted to bring with me tonight so I could sleep comfortably, and it fit in the bag like a glove. So a little bit more about this tent. I have made a few videos. This is a very, very spacious 2-person tent. It is designed around motorcyclists specifically, so you can pack this on your adventure bike, you can pack it on your cruiser motorcycle. It takes probably about 5 to 10 minutes to set up, depending on how drunk you are. And it has like an amazing interior. I'm absolutely obsessed with this tent. I'm even more obsessed with its big brother, the one that you can stand up in. Even though I will be sleeping in a tent tonight, I did bring my lounge hammock. I think I just bought this I actually got this at Walmart, and I'm gonna have all of the links to these items down below if you guys are interested. But this is a hammock.
She began a meticulous setup of her specialized motorcycle tent and high-quality down gear. Everything was packed into a single waterproof bag, optimized for the limited space on her small bike.
For the most part. So of course you know what time it is. Good. I let them set long enough so that they're not all explodey. You're kind of far away. Do you see that? This is like the most beautiful campsite I have ever stayed at while I've been in this campground. I've actually been trying to get this site for years, and the reason it's been hard for me is either it's already all booked up, or it's really hard to tell, but this is down kind of an impressive hill. I'll show you here in a second. So I could probably get down here on the Dyna pretty easy, but I would feel pretty nervous taking my road glide down this, because there's a lot of roots, there's a lot of pine needles, so it's kind of like loose surfaces, and we've been getting a lot of rain, so it's kind of muddy. But the Himalayan did great. Where is that bike? Right there. It did so good. Even like fully loaded, packed down with all of my stuff, it didn't slip, it didn't feel crazy. So it's amazing, like the night and day difference in confidence that I feel on like gravel and dirt roads when I'm on the Himalayan. Makes things more fun, and that's exactly what I wanted to do. I just wanted to be able to go a little bit more off the beaten path with my campgrounds, and this is one of those campgrounds. This campground is actually pretty mild compared to some of the others. A few of the other ones in this area, you have to take some pretty gnarly like gravel roads just to get access to them. So maybe one day Jordan and I will come back and we'll check out some of the alternative grounds together. But I just like, this site is amazing. Come here, I'll show you. Okay, so I'm gonna show you this hill that my Hemi had to ride down. All right. So it's kind of hard to see on camera, but we are definitely walking up a big hill.
The Himalayan handled the root-choked hills and muddy slopes with ease. She felt a surge of confidence being off the beaten path, surrounded by a heavy canopy of trees and total isolation.
What you're supposed to do is light the paper and the log lights with it. I think it's lit. Okay, we're doing good. Well, of course, for dinner tonight, I'm making a ribeye. Brought some sea salt with me. This is gonna be good.
I've said it before and I'll say it again. There is nothing like cooking a ribeye over an open fire. Listen to that sizzle. Even though ribeye is probably a fairly sufficient dinner for a woman of my stature, we're not just having ribeye tonight. Let's throw the shrimps on the barbie. Barbie? I'm not Australian, I can't say it. Shrimp and a bobby? Shrimp on a bobby. Shrimps on the campfire. Well, the steak isn't as charred as I would normally like it, but it's not overcooked, so that's a win. Let's try a bite. That's really tender.
Dinner was a feast of ribeye and shrimp sizzled over a Duraflame log. A massive beaver drifted past the camp in the fading light, completing the perfect outdoor atmosphere. That's when it happened.
This headache goes away. That's no fun. It's such a beautiful evening. Why do I gotta have a headache? Well, here's something I have never done before. I am actually not even gonna camp tonight. I don't know what's going on. Out of the blue, I developed an insane migraine. I'm incredibly nauseous, and I was feeling that way before eating tonight. And I thought eating dinner would help, so it didn't, and I feel really awful. I feel really awful to the point where I don't have cell service in this area, and if I get worse, there's nobody I can call that's gonna help me. So I think I'm gonna make the wise decision to, I don't feel good. I'm gonna pack up camp and head home, and it's an 1.5 hour ride home, and the sun is setting. So it's not smart, but I'll keep you posted. I can't do this, not tonight. I can't believe I'm doing this, you guys. Seriously, for the first time ever, I'm leaving a campground before I've camped. I don't know what is going on with me. It does not feel good. I am not looking forward to the fact that I have to ride home on these dark, twisty country roads. And what's even more nerve-wracking is there is a bobcat running around here right now. That I've never seen that before. Check this out. I cannot believe that. Look at how freaking...
A sudden, crippling migraine shattered the peace. Intense nausea took hold, and the lack of cell service meant she was truly alone in her suffering.
You should probably just go ahead and go home. This sucks. I am so glad that I'm, close enough to home. I have an 1.5 hour ride, but we're gonna make it. Now, the only thing I can't figure out is why my cluster is like, this is so bright. Why is that so bright? I can't see anything. I don't know if there's a way for me to turn it down or what. All right, well, I'm really not feeling good, and I'm gonna have to focus on the road, so time to shut the camera off.
All right, well, it is actually the next day. I will let you guys know I'm feeling a lot better. Kenny hooked me up with some medicine right before I left the campground, and that did really help me ride safely back home. It was a very unsafe ride. There were a few things I learned about the Himalayan that I needed to remedy immediately. One of those was the Tripper navigation little cluster, the app that...
She abandoned her camp and began a dangerous night ride home through twisty country roads. A giant bobcat watched from the shadows as she fled the forest to find medical help. YouTuber Eleanor from Eleanor Grace Adventure, headed to Dartmoor for her first solo wild camp in months. She was fighting a history of severe panic attacks that had previously forced her to flee into the night.
I put up like a few videos on this channel talking about the fact that I was struggling a lot at the time. This was before I got a diagnosis and all of that stuff, but around that time I ended up having to leave a few camps. The first one was absolutely terrifying. I ended up having like what I thought was a heart attack, full-blown panic attack, heart palpitations, the lot in the middle of a woodland on my own. I was experiencing a lot of panic attacks around that time, and then when I was brave enough to go to Wales, I tried to do another quite challenging overnight wild camp, and I had to leave that too because my brain was just doing absolute somersaults. So yeah, apart from a couple of camps since, one with my brother in a hammock, which actually took a lot. I was quite nervous then as well that the same thing was going to happen again. And another one that I did on in a different part of Dartmoor recently, where my car was parked quite close to me. I haven't done like a proper...
She chose a spot near a rushing river, desperate for the water to drown out the deafening silence. Enclosed spaces and total quiet are triggers that send her mind into a dangerous somersaulting spiral.
But yeah, I just couldn't be bothered to put up a tent. There's no rain, by the way, forecast tonight, so it should be, it's sunny all day. Tomorrow it's cloudy. If I can wake up early and get to the pool before anyone else, very, very happy about that. It'll be mission accomplished. I've given myself a little den under there. I've done this the wrong way round, look. I could have pinned it down there, but it's not meant to be a very windy night, so this should be all right. The reason that this is such a big challenge for me, because I've learned something whilst camping over the last couple of years. That is that I do really, really badly in places that are quite enclosed with a lot of trees and places that are way, way too silent. My brain just goes absolutely mental. I mean, I feel like I've got a nice amount of space here, so it should be okay. Hearing the river just down there, and I can hear cars in the distance and stuff, it should be okay. But
that's when the silence hit. As she built a makeshift tarp den, she realized how vulnerable she felt without the walls of a tent or car to protect her from the vast, watching abyss.
I don't care. I need like a bigger flame really to do this because it's just all burning in the centre. Some mozzarella. Tip it all in. I brought some beef to put with this as well. How random is this meal, man? Like cheesy scrambled eggs. Why the heck not? Ow, this is hot. I do like this spot. It's really well hidden. But I just, yeah, I feel so vulnerable when camping a lot now. It's never in my car, in the camper. It's just since that night I've been worried about coming somewhere like this. Oh well, you get on with it, don't you? Put down the bivvy to protect my camping mat. Oh no, I've lost my mic. Oh, it's there. Oh, I lost Mike the mic for a second. God, I panicked then. This looks so cozy. I'm not kidding. Look, it's like a little nook. Look, like a little sun lounger. Did I not bring it? I've brought some hand warmers with me, so I'm gonna let them heat up because it is starting to get quite chilly. I've got layers with me. Oh no, one hand warmer. Sorry, not a pair. Oh, there it is. Oh, thank God. I literally thought I'd forgotten my makeup remover. Well, I'm just happy that the sun showed his face today, personally. And I'm a rain girl, So you can imagine how long it's been since I've seen the sun. It's rained literally every single day, probably for months at this point.
But it wasn't just the moor outside. She lay awake for hours in the blackness, battling the wild thoughts that only emerge when there is nothing else to hear but her own racing heart.
I'll say it again, that running water in the background is helping me so much. And I think that that's the problem. It makes me feel very on edge when it's just silence, me in the abyss, in the black, with all of my stuff and just my thoughts. My thoughts can run absolutely wild. So, I mean, obviously I love camping, but wild camping, it definitely tests me with this problem I've got. So, and I haven't had a panic attack so far, and I'm also rather comfy. Just trying to look after myself, I guess. I don't know.
Yes. I need coffee. I don't even know what time it is. I haven't even looked at my phone. I am very, very tempted to walk back to the car before we continue so that I can offload some stuff. Just check I haven't left anything. No, we're good. Thank you, trees. Cool. God, my legs aren't even working properly yet. I did just walk back to the car. It was only about like 15-20 minutes. Unload some of that massive backpack. So we're on the way up now to the pool. There's better signal down there as well, so I thought I'd check in at home quickly, see how my mum's doing. She's getting there, but she's still a little bit thought I'd get some shots done.
Morning brought a cold victory. She pushed her limits further with a brutal cold plunge in a natural pool, forcing her body to stay present even as the thick fog began to swallow the tour.
Oh yeah, finally. Can't see any leeches, so we're good. Oh. Oh, jeez, okay. Yeah, I just put some thick socks on. It fights the, burn when you get in a bit. I've got some really good swimming shoes coming soon. That should help out, because I don't think the water's going to be much warmer for a while yet. Probably until about June, July. Well, the anxiety is definitely going to be buggering off for a bit, because I tell you what, after this.
Suddenly, the peace was shattered. The sharp crack of pistols and men yelling from a nearby military exercise echoed through the mist, a jarring reminder that she was never truly alone on the moor.
They're doing military training over on that tour. Lots of men yelling and pistols going off. I don't know what guns they're using. Ah. Thank you, teddy bear socks. Yeah, this is really nice. It's getting so foggy now, and it started to rain a bit as well. Was that a cross?